Welcome to our webinar on Wageningen University's online Master in Plant Breeding. Today we will guide you through the features of this international program. My name is Anja Kuipers and I'm Program Director of this Master. Today I'm presenting with Jan Kees Goud and Olivia Connor. Jan Kees and Olivia, can you introduce yourselves? Jan Kees?
Yeah, well, my name is Jan Kees Goud and I'm a teacher in the program, and I'm also the study advisor for the participants in the program.
Okay.
And my name is Olivia Connor. I am a recent graduate of the Online Masters program from the US.
Okay, yeah, so that's us, but we also like to get to know you a little bit. So yeah, we like to know where you're from, for example. So in the chat you'll see a poll coming up, and there will be more options will be added. So can you please indicate in those polls yeah, where you come from? So we'll get back to it a little bit later.
Yes, okay. In between I will tell you about the topics for today's webinar. We will start with an introduction on Wageningen University, a bit of history, and also zoom into the Department of Plant Breeding, the laboratory, and the research that's going on in the plant breeding domain. After that, we will tell you a bit on the setup of the online masters, what it's like to study in an online way of following classes. We will also zoom into some of the courses and know more about Olivia's experiences in the online master. And then we will continue with some information what it's like to study at the online platform. And Jan Kees, as lecturer, will introduce you to that. Then we finally will view the admission requirements, and we will also share some information on the tuition fees and other administrative issues related to application and admission to this online master. Finally, we will have the opportunity for you to ask some questions, and you can type your questions in the chat while we are presenting. So Wageningen University was founded in 1918, so we have quite a history of over a century. And over the years we have built credits in our domain of life sciences, which shows in high scores in several international rankings. So we are, for example, nominated or regarded #1 university in agriculture and forestry by QS World University Rankings. And we currently are at the 67th position as best universities of the world, according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. Here in the Netherlands, all our bachelor's and master's programs, so including the online master's programs, are formally accredited by the Dutch-Flemish Accreditation Organization. And in total, at Wageningen University, we have about 12,000 students, of which more than 25% are international. So yeah, it's quite an international community on the regular on-campus programs and in the online masters as well. Yeah, so we also have quite an extensive alumni network of more than 65,000 alumni, also worldwide. And fun fact, actually the Department of Plant Breeding has a longer history than the university itself. So the Plant Breeding Department has a 112-year track record. So quite some experience that you can benefit from in this online master's program.
Yeah, so I'm employed as a teacher in the Department of Plant Breeding, but there's a lot of research going on in the department too, and that's really nice because that knowledge can flow back into the education. So it's really yeah, very good combination. So in this well, in this picture you see a cluster of all the different yeah, sub domains and research groups of the plant breeding laboratory. And so the type of research that's done there, it's a combination of fundamental research and applied research. in such a way that, let's say, the answers from fundamental research can flow back to benefit the knowledge of the breeding companies. So the key for that is that we do research on crops. So so that's really, so if we have investigations on breeding for quality, it's, for example, on the taste of tomato. Resistance on potato and tomato. Development on growth of cabbage. And we have research on mushrooms, so that's not a plant, but it's a crop. Ornamental crops, and also we have research groups focused at abiotic stress tolerance for the bio-based economy, and like fibers and oils, etc. And also focusing on quantitative aspects of research. And next to that, we also have breeding programs going on at the department, like on potato and on quinoa. So it's really, both fundamental and applied. A good combination of academic research. So let's get back to the poll results. Let me see what we have, where you came from. Let me see if I can scroll back and forth a little bit. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we have a lot of, well, a little bit more than half participants from Europe, and about, quite a good deal also from the Netherlands itself. And this is what we also see in the, as participants in the master. We have Asia, we have some from Africa, and we have also America. So, so we have it more or less from all around the world.
Nice representation of all around the world.
Yeah, so
exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Yeah, it's it's like that. So it's good to know that you are with us from all around the world.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we know each other, let's continue with some details on the online masters itself. The setup of the program, a bit of general aspects. So basically, as I said before, it's a fully accredited master's degree connected to our masters in plant science, but offered in an online format and also in a part-time format. So the study load on average is about 20 hours a week, which makes it combinable with part-time work as well. So we have started this online masters in plant breeding in 2015, so we have more than 10 years of experience in offering online education in our domain of plant breeding. And in this setup, it enables students to study from home, study in an online community, meaning that you don't need to do all the study work fully on your own. You are part of an online community of students to work together, to chat, and also there's quite some amount of interaction with the lecturers that are teaching the courses of the program. So this setup enables to combine study with work, can be at a breeding company or somewhere else, or other obligations or personal situations. So Olivia, I'm curious, what made you choose for the online masters in plant breeding?
Absolutely. What originally drew me to this program was that I was working as a hydroponic grower at a company in the US, and I had really been interested in the genetics, and I would notice that some of my fellow growers, as we were doing varietal trials, would sometimes blame low productivity of the crops on the genetics. No, genetics, that's the problem, if only. And so I just didn't like the idea of blaming the genetics, and I really wanted to build a better understanding of what was actually happening inside of the plant and what were some ways that it could be improved. And so that drew me to pursue this online master's, and I also appreciated that I could remain at the company and continue to grow and learn there while also working towards the master's.
Great. That yeah, it's exactly actually the type of student that we offer this program for. So good that you found it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, this online format of the study program has some specific requirements to allow students to be effective in online study. So obviously you need to have good computer skills or sufficient people around to help you out in cases of difficulties with the computer. Also, obviously, you need access to broadband internet to be able to watch the knowledge clips, for example, at a reasonable speed. Then you also need to be committed to engage in the virtual learning community, because the online format requires frequent online cooperation with students and teachers. So Jan Kees will tell a bit more, and I'm quite sure that Olivia will share some of her experiences with the online courses. You also need to be able to work with deadlines. Although it's online and although it's part-time, still deadlines need to be met for handing in reports or assignments or participating in the online proctored exams. So there are some specific characteristics related to the online study that are not common in regular university education.
So let me tell you a little bit about the general structure of the program. So this is an overview. It has very small font, but you can see a scheme of blocks. All the light blue blocks, they are courses. So they have a specific order and planning, so a starting date and an end date. Usually they end. And the green weeks, they are also courses, but they are skills. So the light blue blocks, they are courses on plant breeding, and the green blocks, there we teach you skills like scientific writing or finding literature, giving a presentation, etc. And towards the end of year 2, there's also a large group project on designing a plant breeding program. Then we have also 2 orange blocks, and these are the Wageningen weeks, so the practicum weeks where you actually visit Wageningen for 2 weeks. So one time during the first year and one time during the second year. Then we have also the dark blue blocks. These are re-exam weeks. So if you fail an exam or skip an exam, it's not the end of the world. There's re-exam opportunities. And if you fail again, then there's an opportunity or 2 opportunities again in the next year. So that's all part of the process, and it's completely natural to, it sometimes doesn't fit. And then you have in the scheme we have the gray parts, which are holidays, usually around Christmas and during the summer break. So, and after the courses of year 1 and 2, there's the master thesis and the internship, so indicated with the purple bar. And you can either do that together or in both of them in 1 year in a full-time fashion, or again in a part-time fashion spread over 2 more years. So the entire program takes 3 to 4 years in a part-time fashion. Yeah. Okay, and these are some examples of courses, and just the titles of the courses. There's some basic courses like principles of plant breeding and genetics, advanced statistics, and there are more advanced courses, especially in year 2, like breeding for abiotic stress tolerance, breeding for resistance, breeding for quality. Some more specialized courses like genomics and bioinformatics or new trends in plant breeding. And at the end, you also have this design integrative course, more or less a project a group project on designing a plant breeding program. So, yeah.
I'm really curious to know from Olivia, what was your favorite course?
Yeah, you've done all those.
You've done them all.
Yeah, I've done them all. My favorite course that I took was Breeding for Quality. I had seen it on the list and was excited to get into year 2 and finally get to take this course. And so it's taught by Dr. Arnaud Bovy, and I really enjoyed the specific focus on, part of it was tomato quality. So we learned about a specific gene called LIN5, which encodes a cell wall invertase, which helps to import sugars into the fruit and improve their sweetness. And so I had been a tomato grower, and so that was really immediately interesting to me because we're always, as a grower, watching the quality of our product.
I can imagine.
And it did inform as well my work that I would later do during my thesis, where I examined fruit quality traits and how they segregated in F2 populations. So.
And it also sounds like the connection between education and research and the application of research that is typical of the domain of plant breeding. So you also experienced that in the courses.
Absolutely.
I can imagine.
Yes, many of these courses felt immediately applicable to my job as a grower of the crops, and that was really gratifying to get to bring the information right into my work.
Great.
Yeah, because, well, in these courses, we give, let's say, one track for everybody, but of course, in choosing the thesis topic and choosing the internship topic, you can more follow your interest.
Yeah.
So, these special courses where you actually come to Wageningen, these are also part of the program, compulsory, because you will be trained on practical skills, like in the lab or in the greenhouse. Also, you'll be doing some presentations of group work. You'll visit Wageningen University facilities, but also some companies, which is also very important. And of course, we can have social events or meet each other. And in year 2, it's an important booster time for working on this designing a breeding program together with your group. So, what is your experience about the Wageningen Weeks?
Absolutely. The Wageningen Weeks were something that was really interesting to me about the whole program in general because I'd never visited the Netherlands before, and so it was sort of a reason to get to finally make the trip and visit the country, and it was really exciting to get to put faces to names of all of my peers and my professors that I'd been online chatting with or meeting with, and so I really enjoyed them. I felt like it helped not only sort of re-encourage, like be even more excited about the program, and I enjoyed the hands-on part of getting to do the trials in person and also get to visit some companies that I otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to. So I really enjoyed them. I felt like they added a lot to the experience.
So really a valuable addition to the online courses.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah.
All right.
So after these examples of the courses and the Wageningen Weeks in years 1 and 2, let's continue with the second part of the online master, the individual hands-on phase, where you work on the master thesis and the internship. So the master thesis is a research-oriented academic project. When done in full-time mode, it takes 6 months. And in those 6 months, you really work on a complete research project from starting with making up the research question, finding out what is already known on the topic, planning and performing experiments, collecting data and reporting on your research findings. So this is all part of the master thesis. It is preferred to do that at Wageningen University, can be in plant breeding or maybe in phytopathology or genetics. And the reason why it's preferred to do that in Wageningen is because of the academic quality of our teachers, of our researchers, which guarantees an adequate academic level of your research and also an adequate level of supervision, because the supervisors are part of those research projects as well and have the needed, the required experience to guarantee a successful project. There are also some options for the research thesis to do that in a sandwich modus, meaning that, for example, if you're working currently at a breeding company, then maybe you can work on your thesis if there's a topic possible that links to ongoing research at Wageningen University, to be able to have a supervisor with the required level of knowledge. So, and then it can be that, for example, you come to Wageningen for a couple of weeks to prepare the research project, then return to your home country, your company, to perform the experiments, and then when you've collected the data, you return to Wageningen to discuss your data and write the report. It can also be the other way around, that you start the preparations in your home country, then come to Wageningen to do the experimental work, and then go back to finalize the project. So there are different options here, depending very much on your individual situation, and it's something that you can discuss already in the earlier years with your study advisor. Jan Kees. Then the other element in this phase is the internship. That is different from the thesis. It's more focused on professional practice, also academic, but not necessarily highly scientific, and connected to the actual work of a plant breeder. So this is a project of 4 months in the full-time equivalent. It has to be arranged by the student. And for the students that are already working in a plant breeding company, it is an option there to take part of your ongoing work as the basis to fulfill the requirements for the internship by reflecting on your work in the company and maybe come up with some suggestions for improvement for the company on that specific topic. So that is quite often done as part of the work of the student. Also here, there's quite some individual customization possible. And I think Jan Kees is an expert now after 10 years of online studying in guiding the students to make the most out of those years.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so back again for a question to you. We developed the program with, well, somebody in mind who was working already as an assistant breeder or a technician in a breeding company. But, well, it's not always, it's not a necessity. But as Anja said, if you are in that position, then maybe you can use your work for performing the internship, and then it goes really efficiently. So we will ask a question in the poll whether or not you are working already in the plant breeding sector. So we just wait until that comes up, and we will see your answers a little bit later on. So you were not working as a plant breeder or assistant breeder yet?
No, I was not. I was working as a grower at an agricultural, more food production company. So still had a good base of plant science, but wasn't in the breeding sector. And that was also a big reason for my interest in the program, was to be able to break into the industry, the sector.
Yeah. Okay.
So did you then use the opportunity of the internship to get into a breeding company, or how did that work out for you?
My internship was still within the vertical farming company that I was a part of, but I was able to focus specifically on a project related to breeding within it.
Yeah, so really a crossover that probably was also beneficial for your company.
Absolutely, and I was able to leave that data as sort of the beginnings of a breeding program with them.
Ah, great.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So while we wait for the poll results, I want to update you a little bit on required background knowledge. For example, on genetics. So one of the first courses is a refresher course on genetics. And yeah, there we use this book of Griffiths et al. But it's a 1,000-page book, and the course is only 4 weeks. So if you don't know anything about genetics, or it has been a very long time ago and you've forgotten everything, then it's going to be quite difficult to fit it all in. So indeed, if you are afraid of that, maybe it's an idea to brush it up already, maybe buy the book and already go through parts of it before you start the online master.
Yeah, and the same holds true for statistics.
Genetics and statistics.
Genetics and statistics, that's the core requirements to be successful in participating in the courses. So also here for statistics, with statistics it's always like if you don't use it, you lose it. So also here maybe some brush up of long forgotten statistics knowledge can be really helpful. So again, this is the book that is being used in one of the courses of the online master. And actually the first 6 chapters of this book are the basics. So also here, if you are seriously considering to apply for this online master, then it can be really helpful to already buy the books in advance and try to refresh some of your statistics knowledge.
Yeah.
Not fun, but needed.
Okay, let's go back to the poll results.
Yeah, let's see.
Let me see. Are you working? Well, about 61% is currently not working in the plant breeding sector, and 39% is working in the plant breeding sector.
okay.
So that's it's good that we have, let's say, a broad interest in this webinar. And I think Olivia is the living proof that we can accommodate both of the groups.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I see coming up another interesting question referring to your genetics book. So the question is, can you read 1,000 pages in 4 weeks at a part-time load? This seems unreasonable.
Yeah, that's true. That is also not so.
That's not how it goes.
That's not
Please
how it goes. Yeah, we don't say start on page 1.
No.
So we have in each chapter we have several figures to study, and we assume that, let's say, for the basics that you already understand these figures and can move on. But if that's not in place yet, it's and you start reading indeed from page 1, then it will not work. So this one course is in that sense quite difficult, because we assume a lot of knowledge present, and we build on that.
Yeah.
And then if it isn't present, then it's going to take more time.
Yeah, it takes more time.
Yeah.
Then there's another question before we continue with the next slide. Whether the thesis needs to be completed in Wageningen. Yes, as I explained, that really depends on the individual situation. So it is recommended or it is preferred, mostly to do it in Wageningen. But it's also possible, based on the individual situations, to do it at your company or in this sandwich type of mode. So where did you do your thesis, Olivia? Did you do it in Wageningen, or?
I did not do it in Wageningen, but I did do it in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And so it took place in Rijkswijk near Den Haag. So I was living in Rotterdam and was able to complete it with my company.
Okay.
And so, but it was handy to be here in the Netherlands because I was able to come for physical meetings with my advisor and also utilize the laboratory services when needed. So it did definitely benefit, but I could see how it could also be completed in a variety of ways depending on what a student needs.
Oh, good to hear your experience. Yeah. Yeah, I think we first continue with the second part of the presentation, and then we will come back to questions being raised in the chat.
Yeah.
So keep asking your questions.
Yeah. So, let's have a look at the courses. So they are offered through an online platform, and basically you find everything there. So, so for example, this is a course that I teach, and it's a 4-week course. So if you click on week 1, then the things they are opened, and then you see all the different aspects, the different items popping open. So this is how it works. It has flexibility within those weeks. So usually we have deadlines and assignments that need to be handed in at the end of the week. So it doesn't really matter if you work on Monday or Tuesday or on Friday and Saturday. Within the week, it's flexible, but there's a weekly task to be finished usually. So this is how it works. Let's zoom in a little bit more. What will you find there? Well, for example, knowledge clips. So there is no necessity to dial in the middle of the night or very early in the morning to watch a live lecture. Everything is recorded, and so it is there ready for you. We do have some optional Teams meetings sometimes where you can chat with the teacher. So, but it's more like a question hour. So it's optional. It's just not every course has it. So you can find that clips, books, book chapters, other online material, also individual and group assignments. And of course, if you have a group assignment, you need to meet your group somewhere, maybe discuss during a live Teams meeting. Find the time.
How did that work for you?
That was pretty simple and okay. It was usually just a discussion of what's a time that is sort of meeting in the middle between a student in the Netherlands and myself in the States. And we were usually able to just find a time that accommodated us all.
What's the average group size then in the cooperation?
Typically, I know we had a few projects that were just 2 people, but we also had some that were with a group of 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty small, where you got to know everybody.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So and what you find here is also, let's say, we try to be clear in the description. So what's expected from you if you open something. In this case, in very small font, probably for you, it says carefully read the paper, and also there's a time estimation of 3 hours. So it really indicates that you have to kind of understand this paper very well. Where otherwise it's just maybe read the summary, and then maybe there's 20 minutes allocated for that. But next to this paper, there was an assignment with a deadline, so it's more. Let's say it takes more time, and that's allocated. That's part of the learning. The learning process, and then there's also a checkbox for yourself, in which you can finish it off for yourself. So that's more or less the approach during the course phase in year 1 and 2. So a weekly task of 20 hours with flexibility within the week. Also, both for the plant breeding courses and for the skills modules. So the skills modules, they train you in skills like presentation and presenting, giving feedback to each other, finding information. And those are usually not ended with an exam, but with the portfolio or a report or a reflection paper that you write.
So I hope this really helped you in getting a brief idea of what it's all like to study in our online program. There's also some requirements before you can enter the online masters. So yeah, obviously you need to apply for admission, and to get admission to this online master you need to have a relevant academic background, which means in general that you will have completed successfully a bachelor, for example, in biology, agronomy, life sciences in general, with, yeah, again, important to stress, knowledge in genetics, statistics and plant physiology. That's really the basis that we require for successful cooperation and completion of the courses. Yeah, in addition to that, yeah, we need to have proof of sufficient academic quality in general. So that's why we ask a grade point average of 70% or higher. So the 7 is the Dutch grading scale. And on our website you can find an extensive overview of how this Dutch 7 translates to grading scales requirements on almost all countries around the world. Also, we require a proof of proficiency in English, because all our master's programs are taught in English and you need to be able to communicate sufficiently in English. And preferred but not required is a relevant working experience in the plant breeding sector in, well, quite broad sense. If you want to apply for admission, then the deadline is 15th of June via study link. Well, all details can be found on our website. If you Google admission online master plant breeding Wageningen, then you will get there for sure. A bit more information on study expenses, the tuition fees. Well, these are the predicted tuition fees for next academic year, 26-27. There are different fees depending on where you come from. So basically, for EU students without a Dutch master's degree, the costs are about 2,700 euros per year. For EU students who already have a Dutch master's degree, the fees are higher, about 8,000 euros. And for non-EU students, the fees are about 11,000 euros per year. This is subject to change. It's not really decided for next academic year, but it will be about this range. And then in addition to that, obviously you will have to take into account the travel and living costs for those two-week periods at Wageningen University. There's limited possibilities for scholarships and grants. Well, the link here, Study in Holland, gives some information on scholarships. And obviously you can also look in your own country for possibilities to get scholarships. And maybe if you're working at a plant breeding company and they want to invest in you, we have examples of plant breeding companies who are willing to support part of the tuition fees as part of their personnel training programs. For scholarships in general, you need to know that it's really highly competitive. There are limited possibilities and many students applying, so that's really kind of a lottery. Yeah,
No.
I think
Yeah.
we're almost done.
We're,
Maybe
in fact,
before we close off, Olivia, at the start you said you graduated from the online master.
Yes.
So what's your plan now after graduation?
Yes, my plan, my hope was that to enter the plant breeding sector, and so I have signed a contract to begin working at a plant breeding company in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And so my ambition is to remain here working in the Netherlands. I've really loved this year that I spent during my internship and thesis. So yeah, that's my next steps, is to begin my work, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so the online master really helped you transition from vertical farming to plant breeding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It had an immediate and whole effect on my ability to enter the industry. So I'm really happy about it. Definitely.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, to summarize all that what we said, it's difficult to summarize it in just a few words, but well, I think we made clear it's an internationally accredited program. It's 4 years, part-time, but intensive, so it's not something that you can do in just a few hours per week. It's academic level, but it will train you, you know, also at an academic level in plant breeding. So if you see possibilities and it appeals to you, then we invite you to be part of this online learning community. And we have more information on our website. I think it will be posted in the description of this webinar, this link. Specific questions can be raised through this email address. It will end up in the email box of Anja or me.
Or you.
So whoever answers first gets gets to do the work, and we can answer some questions from you that you raise now. I see that.
Yeah, I see that there's already quite some questions
and
coming
also
in.
some answers. I think maybe even there's a student in the program who is already answering some questions.
That's really helpful.
Maybe Andrew could be.
Yeah.
Based on your writing style.
So yeah, let's see. There's a question. Since this is a distance learning program, is there any process to check that the course material matches what is tested in the exams? Yeah, obviously, but maybe Jan Kees, as a lecturer, maybe you can answer that.
Yes, well, as we speak, we are, let's say, checked for that to see if it's all, if we have learning outcomes and exams, if those are aligned. So yeah, we are working on it, but it's, well, as teachers, we're also human, so we try to do it the best way we can. And I think we are quite good at it. But
yeah, with 10 years of experience on these courses, I think.
But there's always something to improve.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
So this is part of the, let's say, ongoing quality assurance. But yeah.
Then someone from Greece wants to know whether the internship can be done in Greece. And if so, does there need to be specific breeding companies from one's country? I think there are breeding companies in Greece, or related to Dutch breeding companies, maybe even.
Also,
but yes, I think there's a good there are good options to do the internship in Greece as part of this online program. Yeah. I would say.
So on-campus students, they go everywhere around the world for their internship. So that's, I mean, for the internship, you can go, you can do it everywhere. You can do, if the topic fits, then that's a possibility.
Yeah. Another question, if I took a course 2 years ago, Breeding for Resistance, is it the same content? It was a course in WUR, the kind you can take separately.
Yeah, that's indeed possible. So it's the same course, basically, that is part of the online master.
I'm not quite sure if this is the course that is really part of the online master, or maybe the separate modules that are offered through Wageningen Academy.
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Those are kind of preparatory to get a taste of what it's like to study online in this domain. Yeah. But anyway, it's helpful to have participated in such a course.
That's true. Yeah. But this Breeding for Resistance course is also offered separately.
Yeah.
So some courses in the online program, they are now offered separately. Yeah. And you can, it's the same course, so that still counts.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Could a person from another country enter to the program? Well, we are open to basically to students from all countries, all around the world. So yes, no matter which country you're in, you're welcome to join our program.
In terms of the schedule, do you need to pass each course first before moving on to the next? No. So you can move on to the next course,
Yeah.
also if you didn't pass the
Yeah.
previous one. But there are, for some courses, it's logical to do first, for example, the statistics, pass it, and then do the follow-up course, like design of experimental design
Yeah.
and of breeding trials.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Yes. I experienced that where I had needed to do the resit for advanced statistics, and
Okay.
it was my goal to get that done before the experimental design, because I
Yeah.
did see that it really built upon it. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely possible, and it doesn't hold you back per se, but it can just be a goal to try and get certain courses done before the
Yeah.
one in the following year.
Yeah.
But you can just proceed. It won't delay you too badly,
Yeah.
I found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to hear that from your experience.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's see. Is it possible to work in thesis since year 1 or 2 in case that the job student is in a company of plant breeding now? So for this thesis, that is not really recommended, because you really need the knowledge from the courses to be as effective as possible in the academic thesis research. But it is possible, if you're currently working in a plant breeding company, to use that work experience also, if it's already part of year 1 and 2, to complete the requirements of the internship. So if planned effectively, it is basically possible to finish the internship parallel with the courses in years 1 and 2, to be well prepared for the thesis. So that is possible, but it's easier for the internship than it is for the thesis, I would say.
Yeah.
Does not having experience in plant breeding means someone will have a hard time to manage this master? Well, maybe that's a good one for you, Olivia, because you worked in a different sector. So how did you experience the difficulty of the courses?
I definitely found myself leaning on, I had taken a genetics course in my bachelor's.
Okay.
I even actually had some notes from that course that I got to refer back to from years before. But yeah, definitely being able to refresh my working knowledge of genetics was helpful before the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
I did find that the Principles of Genetics course was a good, effective sort of foot back into that world, despite having been working, not in school and working in the industry for a few years. So yeah, I think definitely the more that you can prepare yourself and try to reinstill that foundation of genetic knowledge before your program begins, I think that will benefit you definitely.
Yeah,
but
so that's exactly why we already recommend these textbooks now.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
to
definitely
help in preparation.
ease the beginning of the program,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah. There's one question about this separate courses and Wageningen Academy courses. So in fact we have 3 tastes. There's these self-study online modules on plant breeding. It's totaling about 6 credits.
Yeah.
Then we have the courses which are actually part of the online master, and we have a number of them, I think like 5, 6 courses that are offered separately. So those are exactly the same courses as the online master students take. So if you take all of them, that's maybe adding up to maybe 15 credits or something like that. And if you take the entire online master, it's 120 credits. So that really leads to a Master of Science diploma. So that's basically the difference.
Yeah. Will the university help us finding internships, and will it be paid internships? Well, to find an internship, obviously you can make use of the network of the researchers, for example in plant breeding. Almost all of the researchers at Wageningen University have their external collaborations. So that's really a very helpful network for students to find a place to go for the internship. So plant breeding at the university has numerous contacts with all the major plant breeding companies in the Netherlands, and most of them also operate internationally. So yes, there's quite some support available to find a place for the internship.
Yeah, but we don't provide a list of opportunities.
No, it's really the initiative of the students to make use of that network.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the skills that you learn during this master, because after graduation or during the final phase of your work, you have to apply for a job as well. So working on finding an internship also prepares you for entering the job market and apply for jobs. So yes, there is support, and yes, you have to do it by yourself. Whether an internship is paid or not depends on the company where you go for the internship. So most often they are paid, but the amount of payment can differ. So that really is up to the internship company, what they offer to interns. Another one.
How will the accommodations be arranged during the practical weeks? Well, we give some links, I think, but you have to arrange it yourself.
Yes, you provided some suggestions, such as like short stay in Wageningen, but also in my case I had planned with 2 other peers of mine to split the cost of a Airbnb in the area of campus. So that helped to really reduce each individual's costs to come and stay for the 2 weeks. So there's a few ways to go about it, and several areas to be accommodated around the campus.
Okay.
And that's then it's also an advantage that you already know your fellow students only online, but you know others who also are going to Wageningen for that period. So
absolutely,
that's also helpful, I can imagine.
Definitely.
Then a question about admission from a student from Dutch University of Applied Sciences, Horticulture and Agricultural Business in Holland-Delft. So in principle that is a relevant bachelor, but here the GPA is below 7. So then if the GPA is below 7, it depends on whether or not, for example, you already have some practical experience that is relevant, or maybe the grades of your first year were on the lower side, but there's an increase of the grades over the years of you have done relatively well in your graduation assignment. So it's not a full no if your GPA is below the 7. So you can still apply, but maybe add some motivation on why there's courses that led to a lower GPA, but also stress measures or situations that can compensate. So it's not a no, but you need to provide compensating information and evidence to convince the admission committee.
How hard is it for someone to do their thesis from their homeland? That's actually a good question, because it depends. Well, it gives a lot of responsibility also with the student, because you will be supervised, maybe also locally, but also by a supervisor from Wageningen University. But of course, you need to meet each other. You need to prepare the meetings and say, okay, I struggle with this. I have a problem with that. I have results on this experiment. How should I this? So like you are sitting next to each other at the desk, so maybe also then you will meet, maybe not specifically, not more often, but you will be in Wageningen you'll be more part of the research group. So you
Yeah.
have maybe another student that's doing similar things, or a PhD student which is also presenting experiments, and you don't have that so clearly if you do it from your home country. So nowadays a lot of the group meetings are also partly online, so you can dial in from your home country, and I would definitely advise to do that.
Yeah.
So to be kind of really part of that research group as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you can
That
also
really adds to
not
the experience.
only have the real supervisor as a connection, but also other people.
Yeah.
So it often works really well, and sometimes it doesn't work quite so well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we can say after all these years.
Here I see quite a different type of question. What formal support systems are in place when students experience conflicts, unfair treatment, or communication problems with professors? So those situations can happen, obviously. In general, the atmosphere at Wageningen University in education and research is quite open and welcoming, but yeah, you never know. And then it's good to know that the study advisors are there to help in solving problems or disputes maybe. And if it's beyond the expertise of the study advisor, then there's also the student deans and confidential advisors that you can contact to discuss your situation and get support in getting things solved. So there is sufficient support for that type of situations available. Wageningen University is quite strong in arranging a safe space for students to study. Anything else? I think we're close to 8 o'clock, so maybe 1 or 2 questions. Jan Kees, do you see?
Internship in other
something?
countries, the US, that's possible. Internships can be done everywhere.
Yeah.
How is the relationship between the graduation student and currently working in plant breeding? I don't really understand maybe the question. Okay, and that Colin from the GPA is working as an assistant
that sounds
breeder.
good. He works as an assistant breeder right now.
Yeah.
BSc thesis with an 8. Research company in Bunnik. Then I sure would apply. Apply and motivate everything. Yeah, if you do that, then there's a fair chance.
Yeah, one question about tree breeding. Well, we don't really do research on that. Well, we have apple tree breeding, but so we, in fact, a lot of apple varieties were bred at the university. We now sold that to a company, but of course that knowledge is still more or less there.
Yeah.
But that's about it. We don't have extensive research groups on tree breeding. Some countries, well, of course, tree breeding, it takes a very long time. It's usually a governmental task, so it could as well be, but we don't have...
Maybe it could be an option to look for a place then on tree breeding for the internship.
Yeah, that's true. And
Outside
what we
the
teach you
university.
is, let's say, genetics,
that's
breeding, sometimes polyploids, etc.
Yeah.
And, well, it's then maybe your task to apply it to your tree species.
Tree,
So we have students.
One more question. I've done my studies in Latin America, but I have EU citizenship and currently living here. Yeah, so then if you have EU citizenship, then you will be considered as an EU citizen for the tuition fee. So that's an advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe then, is there a limit of students per academic year? No, we don't have a limit to the number of students.
Yeah.
So basically you can apply for admission. If you're admitted and complete your registration here at our university, then you're very welcome to start the online master in plant breeding. Yeah, so I think with that we are going to end this webinar. Thanks for joining. I hope the information was useful for you in making up your mind. If you still have questions, then well, you can contact Jan Kees or me via the email mps-dl.msc@wur.nl. So thanks again for joining, and well, have a good morning, afternoon, evening. Hope to see you in Wageningen.